The City of Johannesburg says it's looking for solutions to end its dependence on embattled power utility Eskom. There have been persistent power cuts affecting residents and businesses around the city. The Industria Substation blew up over the weekend due to overloading. Meanwhile, the Roodepoort substation was hit by major cable theft. This has resulted in chaos in the surrounding areas of Johannesburg in the past few days. My colleague, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, is covering the story for us on the ground. A little bit earlier, we found him at that substation, but now he's moved on and he's at the Megawatt Park. That's the head offices of Eskom in Johannesburg. Aviwe, good afternoon. Thanks for your time again here on Today. And now the City of Johannesburg is saying that it cannot rely solely only on Eskom anymore.
It cannot, Brajan, and that was evident just over the weekend when the Industria Substation blew up, essentially. We are told that that's because of the overloading of electricity as the load shedding then subsided and electricity went back to the substation. It couldn't handle it because of the infrastructure. In fact, in speaking to the MMC of Environment and Infrastructure, Michael Son, he did mention that the aging infrastructure is not able to absorb the constant on and off that load shedding brings with it. In fact, it needs to be replenished, and they even have plans for Johannesburg and the city in its entirety just to bring in other producers and to move away from the Eskom grid. That suggestion that by December, the residents of Johannesburg would bear the fruits then of bringing in, for example, IPPs. It's a conversation that we had at the Industria Substation with the MMC of Environment and Infrastructure, Michael Son. Just take a listen to that.
Simply, we cannot rely on Eskom anymore, and we need to relook at the dynamics to ensure that we bring more independent power producers. We need to cut the red tape to ensure that we feed energy into the grid so our residents and customers can receive uninterrupted power supplies.
Now, earlier today, you spoke to the acting, I think he's the acting CEO of City Power, Aviwe, and they are talking about the problem, the headache, the ongoing headache of cable theft affecting badly some of their substations and the huge cost in rands, in terms of rands, of that stolen cable cost, the cable theft.
100 million rand plus in rands for the City Power that has been stolen by cable thefts just in the last year alone. But just over the weekend, Bradan, we found out that the outages that led to communities not having powers for more than 3 days because of the cable theft, that cost a dent of 3.5 million rand. That's a conversation that we had a bit earlier on with the acting CEO of City Power, just as he was showing us the operations of these Zamazamas that we are told went in at the Roodepoort substation, where they damaged the substation from Saturday, and some of those residents not having power for 3 days. It's a conversation that we had there as he tried to detail and explain that they have plans in place, but you'd understand the frustration that these things have been happening for a long time, essentially. They've known about it, but only now they're saying that they engage in government. Some of those pointed questions that I asked to Isaac Rampedi, just as he was showing me the damage caused by Zamazamas as they steal these cables. Let's take a listen to that.
This weekend, we lost about 3.5 million worth of damages, which were done by, we suspect heavily that it's got something to do with the Zamazama activities which are happening around the station. So normally when these guys are underground and then they didn't get what they were looking for that day, we become the easy targets. As you can see, they come through the holes here, and there is a hole on the fence which they used to come in, where now they came into the station. They tie up the security guards. Obviously, they are heavily armed. Our security guards are not a match against them. So, and they tied them up and they started cutting all the cables. So, as a result, we had 3 days of blackouts for all these customers around the Roodepoort CBT.